then it's going to get
yes, a disaster.
And tell you what, Maria, I'll also email it to you so that you can look at it however is easier. So I'll do both
Okay,
here.
cool.
all right. I think we're live. I'm always surprised about whether we're live or not. Craig, do you know if we're live?
I just got a notification
That we are in fact live? It's not the first time we've gone on screen and I'm babbling like an idiot before we actually start.
there. Yep, I see us.
All right, good. So we are live.
Yes,
Maria,
I see us.
welcome to the show. Before we start, there's a couple of things I have to get off my chest because I'm excited about them. First things first. By no intention of ours, both Greg and I and Ryan sort of touched on the same things this week. Ryan went live on Tuesday and talked about the launch of his products and the way that he has a preference for doing what he's calling collaborative capitalism. I want to sort of tease him and call it social capitalism because I'm just read that way, but it's, I think we mean the same thing. And he's talking about his brand that he's launching, Switch. And it's no secret that Greg and I have been playing with the idea of launching sort of a brand around called Braingasm Shakes. And it's very much in sort of the same vein. And when what Ryan was doing became clear, that caused us to have a long conversation about how do you deal with a competitor, whether that's someone who's close or someone you don't know, sort of starts moving into the space that you're thinking about. And we had a long conversation about that and sort of launched that as a bonus episode on the podcast. But I think that's really worthwhile to listen to if you want to witness a different way of not getting defensive about someone moving into sort of a brand space that you were in before, and how you can think about that differently. I really like both what Ryan said on his live on Tuesday and the discussion that Greg and I had the other week and we launched yesterday. So that's the one thing. The other thing that I'm really excited about and I want to make sure that everybody's aware of before we start talking to Maria is that we're starting a newsletter to complement Loveline for Business and the Hot Seat called In the Flow. The first issue is going to come out on Friday. I'd love for anybody that's listening here and would like some extra content that's not on the podcast to sign up. You can sign up by going to intheflow.email, and I'd love to have you there. And I think the last thing I should probably say is that if you'd like to come on the hot seat or on Loveline for Business, just go to lovelineforbiz.com and there's a button there somewhere and you can hit that and sign up to come and join one of our sessions. We'd love to have you there.
Ram, do you have our call-in phone number handy?
Oh, I do. That's, you know what, I thought, you know what, there's only so much that you can plug, but if you're going to force me, then if you have questions you'd like for Greg and I to answer on the show and you don't want to come on or you don't think that that's enough to cover like a whole show, we would love to answer them on Loveline for Business. And all you have to do is leave us a message at 775-442-4819. That's 775-442-4819, and we'll answer your questions on the show. And now I'm out of things to plug, Greg. I promise.
I have nothing.
Are you sure? What about t-shirts? Do you want to tell us about the t-shirts?
About the Loveline for Business swag?
Yeah, they're amazing.
I didn't wear one today. Today I have on.
I just ordered mine.
Yeah, if you'd like to demonstrate your support for the podcast and let everybody know that you're an insider, everybody at the grocery store know that you're an insider behind that mask, then you should go to lovelineforbiz.com, scroll down and buy a t-shirt. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. I'm so glad we got that out of the way. Maria, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're very happy to have you here. Let's start. You know, how would you like to start? You want to give us a little bit of background? You've been on a bunch of our calls with Ryan, so I think most of the people here have a little bit of an idea of what you're about. So, how would you like to start?
Okay, thank you. So thank you so much for having me. As you guys already know, because I'm not afraid of the live video. I talk a lot, so I might, yes, of course, I can give a small intro. I think what I wrote down for you guys would be a good one. I don't know if it's okay if I read it, because it's short.
Yeah, of course.
So that I don't give you all of my life in 45 minutes of listening to me. So, okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and read it. So, and I'm very excited to be here. So, okay, so what I told you guys, tell us about yourself in 3 sentences. It was an amazing exercise, because the 3 sentences should be something I learned to do more often. So what I wrote down is I am an investor. I am a mom of a 2-year-old boy and a wife. I love health, fitness, wellness. So all of the I've been bikini competitor in fitness. So I really like the fitness and the wellness, which are not the same because fitness is not always healthy. But then I also like whiskey, connection, and freedom. That's what I wrote. I'm on a journey or a mission to create a 6-figure info product business. And the subject is Spanish or financial intelligence, personal finance, but always focused on generating passive income. So, and it's my mission to serve and contribute, sharing what I've learned on my own journey. I have been semi-retired 5 years now. I'm 36 years young. And so one of the reasons I'm back in the industry, let's say, because I already had a school that gave live events, and we closed it in 2016 to do our first sabbatical year. It's my husband and me. We are the 2 partners of the business. And is what I wrote down here, which sounds like it could be like a just nice kind of talk, but it's very deep for me. Is I believe the soul didn't come here on vacation, and that we are here to contribute on making the world happier, fun, or a better place. So I learned this the hard way, because I lost my mom in October last year. And it was suddenly, like, she didn't have any disease or anything. It was just, she had a mental brain stroke, and 3 days after she was gone. And so that was a big hit for me. And it's also what's got me here, trying to be a new solopreneur. Because one of the things I realized very quickly is that I have all this information. I know it's transformational. I've already seen results in my students when I had the school and in my own life. And I said, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not sharing with anybody. And, we don't have a guarantee how much we're going to be here. And I do believe that she was a great example of leaving the world better. So that's my main motivation for this business. And and then why am I here in Love Line for Business? So you ask, where am I stuck? I guess it's 2 things that merge into the same kind of feeling. The feeling is like really, really overwhelmed. And that's what I think where I feel I'm kind of stuck. I feel I'm moving forward. I don't feel so stuck, but I really feel overwhelmed. And maybe the two main triggers of this overwhelmed feeling are that I believe I'm like a dinosaur on the internet. Like, I don't know like how to start. Well, I'm taking Ryan's program, but there's a lot of technical stuff that it's two things, the technology and how do I get my ideas down to the earth and communicate being assertive. So it's not just the internet, it's how do I market, and maybe I'm not so assertive on how to communicate my difference and the pain points, and like how to talk to the person like if he was a person and not someone on the internet like a machine. So
Okay, so Maria, you've said maybe 20,000 things now, and
okay,
and,
cool.
and I think they if I listen carefully, they sort of distribute into three different things, and I'd like to try and unpack all of them.
Okay,
So
thank
to
you.
start with, you have a background in entrepreneurship. You ran your own businesses. You sort of closed them down in 2016, and what I'm hearing is figuring out how to make it financially. That's not where you're having trouble.
Is it a question? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, is that true or not?
Well, it's not my main concern, no, because
Okay.
maybe it's probable that I don't have the resources to hire like the best internet guru or whatever.
No, but what I mean is, I mean, you've figured out how to make a living, and if you're semi-retired and you're now thinking about how to come back, and your motivations for coming back aren't I don't know how to feed my kids, but rather there's not enough meaning in my life, and I would like to insert more meaning in my life, and that's your motivation, right?
Yes, well, there's. I always say I don't want to be mistakenly talking like if I was Mother Teresa. So, of course, there's also a financial incentive, and it's one of our businesses that we had, my husband and me. In December, it went bankrupt. So we were just investors, but we got like 60% of our income from there. So my why is mixed. It's not figuring out how to put money on the table because we're still living out of the passive income we have. But of course, I would like to recover. It was 60% of our passive income, so I would indeed like to recover a lot of that and make it even higher so that we can be more relaxed about money.
And then the other thing I'm hearing you say is, okay, so I mean, what you would like to do is to take sort of the experience that you have and share that in a way that's real and not packaged in bullshit.
Exactly.
It's something that Greg and I share. I mean, I identify that with that very, very strongly, being sort of in the entrepreneurial space. And the moment you start digging around in that, then your Facebook feed fills up with all of these like charlatans who are trying to sell like these get rich quick schemes and these illusions that if only you find the right guru and throw enough money at him, then suddenly all of your problems will be solved. Having known a bunch of people that are both, both have lots of money or have lost all their money, regardless of where you are, lots of money or no money at all, you're still stuck with yourself, and there's no way of getting away from that. But then the third thing I'm hearing you say is, well, I had these businesses and I had it figured out 4 years ago, but now everything's changed and I no longer know how to sort of run the technology. And to be perfectly honest, my reaction to that is the technology is entirely insignificant as long as you know how to connect to people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's what I think. So if
I
have
a really easy solution
Yeah.
for the technology. You have two choices. You can find somebody who can help you, and you can either pay them or give them, some sort of profit share on what you create. I mean, there's a lot of ways to bring somebody in and to compensate them for their effort without necessarily just shelling out cash up front. And you can go, there are experts on different info product platforms all over the world. And so there's a huge range in what people charge for this type of thing. And the skill set exists all over the world. So I would say it's not impossible that you find somebody who can just help you out with this. And that would be route number one. And then the tricky part is just finding them. It's a process of hiring. You're going to have to find the right person, try them out. If they're not working out, you'll have to fire them. So there's that route. Or you can just do a little bit of research into maybe 2 or 3 different platforms that other people are using for something similar. And then pick one and spend some time learning it. And it'll be, it's going to be new learning for you. So it's you won't be able to launch right away. You'll have to kind of work your way into it and learn enough that you can make it do what you want. And then you're the expert on that platform. And then you figure out how to, you already have all the content. You've already taught this. It sounds like you just need to find the right way to put it online, like the right way to bundle it as something that somebody can buy and download. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's right. Yes, I actually yesterday had a really interesting meeting with someone that is closer to what we can spend right now. Mm-hmm. And maybe that would be a good way to start for us with the technology. And yes, we've thought it before. So the content we can give the content, and we know that it's transformative and it's good quality content. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. I think the second route is the one that I was taking until now.
Okay.
But I have this. I feel like there's so much things I need to learn, like copyright, graphic design, then the 6 months to 6 figures, then the Facebook ad, this and that. And so I was getting like really overwhelmed because, and I'm really a doer. So I'm working since April in this project, and a part of me tells me like, why are you not already online? And the other part says, okay, be patient. We're doing this fine. Like, we are not in a hurry. Mm-hmm. And we're not in a hurry because we want to launch something that is really valuable for people and that we can really expand in terms of income and etc. So yes, it's that discussion in my head. And I figured out I don't want to just learn everything and do it myself because it's definitely a route that with my 2-year-old and the other, and yes, just with my 2-year-old, which I'm a full-time mom, it would be a very slow process. Like, I'm waking up at 4:30 a.m. and sleeping at 10 at night, but still I cannot grab all the information I need to have. Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so you already have clients that have come through your live program. Have you been able to keep in touch with any of them? If you reached out to previous clients and asked for a testimonial, do you think that you could get a few?
Yes, I'm sure I could.
Okay.
And we have some that are like raving fans. So we cool. Really have, yes, we can definitely do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you said you're not in it. I mean, you're not pressured. You're not in survival mode. You have revenue. You'd like to get going sooner rather than later, but you're not desperate to get it going next week.
Mhm.
But you're also frustrated that it's taken so long.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
okay.
Yes, it has been since April. So my goal, sincerely, is to launch on September 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care what I have. In my mind, I said, I don't care what we have in this moment. September 1st is my launch date, and I have to do something online. And of course, I'm going to do it 1,000 times, maybe wrong, but it's okay. I said, okay, I have to get like out in the world, because I think I feel some of the problem that I feel might be happening in my head is I have all this content, like all these ideas and all these things I want to share, but then I'm not talking to an actual human being about it. So, for example, when I do 6 figures in 6 months, the program Ryan so generously gave us, when I start writing, for example, the hero, like celebrating the person, so I'm like, I'm like very literal, because of course I don't know about copyright. So I'm like, you are the hero and this and that. And I read this to someone, and they're like, with someone with experience, and he's like, no. Like people are going to punch you in the face if you talk to them like that. And I'm like, okay.
No, but but maybe here's the problem. You're talking to experts rather than to your audience.
Yes.
Right. So I mean, even have you got like the contents all figured out, and what you're really trying to wrap your head around is how to build a community around that and gather your client base? Or is that also you remember the way that you used to distribute your content, whatever, a couple of years ago in your school, and you're now trying to figure out how to put that into like a digital space, and
Yes,
you're doing that while trying to figure out who your avatar is, and how to speak to them, and how to market to them, and how to get them on an email list, and how to sell it to them, and which platform to use, and how they're going to respond to my emails, and do I need images or just plain text, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. No, the second one that you said, like we know what we used to teach and how the workshops used to be. We have an idea that we can somehow keep them. Some of them are still something that we would like to teach, and maybe even the format would be okay if we just did it in a live Zoom call with a nice presentation. So, but definitely we are thinking about how to package it, what prices, if we should buy like everything, even from like if I should buy a new iPhone or a camera, to if I should have another better computer, to everything. So that it's like a lot of information. I guess maybe a plan of action could make things smoother for us. And I've been trying to get there, but I haven't yet figured out exactly like everything that I need to figure out before going live.
How difficult do you think it would be to find 10 or 15 people to stick in an initial class, to go through the curriculum the way that you used to, and record that?
I think it would not be that hard.
I would do that immediately.
Okay.
And just and don't even wait for it. Like, do it if you can pull it off in a week and a half from now. Do a week and a half from now. Either charge very little or charge nothing at all, and with the expectation that they give you feedback. I would set up like an expectation that if they don't pay for it, that they have to pay you back in like feedback or whatever, so that there's sort of a quid pro quo, and then go through it and see how you react.
I'd still charge something. If you charge them nothing, then they won't place any value on it.
You're right.
So I if you think that this class, when it's finished, if it's, let's say you were going to charge $2,000, you could do like basically say like, this is the test case. This is the test class. You're guinea pigs. You're going to help me create this. I'm going to give you this content at a ridiculous discount. It'll only be $200 instead of $2,000. And you'll be part of me helping to create this. Then you could, you can get some people in who are willing to be actively part of the process of you creating it. And what Bram said is true. It could be as simple as you getting on a Zoom call, just like we're on right now, and you just teach what you would normally teach. You could have PowerPoint slides. You could share your screen and show them that way, and just record the whole thing. And then you get feedback from people, and they'll say what was good, what's bad. But in the meantime, you could turn around and sell that recording as version 1 of the class. And then you get feedback about what worked, what didn't work, from the participants. And you think about what version 2 would be, just changing up a few things. And then you could later offer a live, version 2 where people pay to come on and do it live. And that time you could charge a premium for them actually coming in and directly interacting with you. You could record that one, and then that would be version 2 that you could just sell the recording of. So creating the content could be as easy as just recording Zoom calls and then posting it through some sort of site where you can control access, like Kajabi. I mean, you don't have to necessarily digitize all of your material that you already have to turn it into like a flashy download necessarily. I mean, there's just a lot of ways to simplify the content delivery, to focus on what you already have, what you're already good at. And, a year from now, maybe it's super polished and looks totally different, but you don't have to launch with that. You can launch with what you have right now. So I think what Bram and I are both saying is, don't let the technology piece be an excuse to push back the dates or to not start. Like, you have content that's going to transform people's lives. And so just start sharing it. And if you're going to start with a small group of people, let them know that you're moving this online. So it's a new experience for you and for them. And just be really honest that this is not the finished product, but you still think it's transformative information, and you want to help them, and you'd appreciate their feedback so that you can make this really just an excellent product as you move forward.
And having a version to sell, whether it's version 0.5 or 1 or 1.5, takes the pressure off having to have something to sell because it's already there. Mm-hmm. And then spending a week or 2 weeks and figuring out how you want to do your email marketing, or whether you want to start a Facebook group, or any other piece of sort of communication technology that's giving you the feeling that you're sort of overwhelmed. You have enough moving pieces that are already there that spending a week or 2 on them is not going to make you feel like, oh shit, but I'm not doing anything about my content, or I'm not figuring out, what's the best version. You can collect feedback on whatever version you put out while trying to figure out another piece.
And I have one more thing to add. Maria, can you share, based on your perspective, is there a lot of good Spanish language content right now for financial freedom type courses? Or are you adding something like I know English language, like it's a very active
saturated
market. There's a lot of participants. And so I guess what I'm getting at is, your marketing doesn't have to be super polished if people know what it is that you're providing. And so that's why I asked you initially about those testimonials. Mm-hmm. And I think especially in this market, people actually get a little bit uncomfortable with super polished marketing, because there are a lot of people in kind of the financial freedom space that are swindlers. I mean, they're just not, they're not good operators. And oftentimes they sell things because their marketing is great, but then their back end product is not. And so
Yes.
just because of that, if you kind of lead with the fact that you have transformative content and you use the testimonials to kind of drive that, then you don't have to have super polished copywriting, super flashy images. Just share with people what it is that you're going to give them and the transformation that they can hope for, and have previous clients back up what you're saying. And I think the marketing could be as simple as that.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Okay, so the Spanish market, it's a really good question, and thank you for asking, because that's where I'm so excited, because I think, like in Spain, the Spanish market is huge. I didn't know this, but I got to know it like a week ago. And after Mandarin, Spanish is the second most spoken language on the planet. So it's the market is huge. I didn't even realize. So I'm lucky because I didn't know that. And the thing is, in Spain, I guess there's like really good financial freedom experts and passive income experts, and it's a little bit more saturated. But the rest of like all America, like all Latin America, is like so virgin in the subject. Even in Costa Rica, like I think there's almost nobody that understands what Gustavo and I do and why we don't work 9 to 5. Like it's totally new. And so the first point is that one. I really appreciate your comment on the super polished and not super polished thing, because yes, the market is huge, and so that's where I see an opportunity of transformation, because it's in some way it's so amazing for people, like when I realized to know that they can live like a different life. They don't have to work 9 to 5 until they are 70, and then their government is broke and is going to give them a pension, which is like less than a quarter of what they're used to living off. So in that way, I'm very excited about the market, and it's easy because there's so much content in English, so much, and there's so much people that don't know English and know Spanish. So even just translating like some of the material would be really valuable for people that don't speak Spanish, don't speak English. Then the super polished is a really good comment, because I'm very afraid of looking like an MLM, or I have nothing against, like I have really good friends that live off a decent and honest MLM, but I'm also have seen a lot of scams, sadly, and they are all dressed in the financial freedom. Like this is the front, is you're going to achieve financial freedom because they are sources of passive income that people can have, or semi-passive income. But so I'm really afraid because the Forex has exploded here in Costa Rica. Like there's so many MLMs based on Forex education and things like that. Some of them are really sketchy.
Is that what you teach, Forex trading?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I'm so afraid of being confused with these people.
But there's no reason. But that's an irrational thought for two reasons. One, you're not in. You don't seem to be in options trading.
No.
And arbitrage. So if that's not the case, that's one. And secondly, with not polished, I think what Greg means is all of the window dressing isn't entirely thought out, and maybe your PowerPoint needs some work, and maybe the script that you're following, it's only the third time you're going through it as opposed to the 15th time. So sometimes you're obviously thinking about what you're saying. I think that all of that's an advantage, because when the difference between a scam and you teaching people valuable stuff is in the actual lessons. And anybody with a brain can figure out within 20 minutes whether what they're being sold is a pipe dream or something else, and that will bear itself out. And you know, if you feel self-conscious about that, then all you need to do is give a really good money back guarantee. And if anybody comes on and feels like they're being scammed, just give them their money back.
Yes.
And that's done. And then if anybody asks, then you say, well, yeah, we had someone on, you know, like in version 1.2, there's this gentleman that came on. He had these expectations. He thought I was going to teach him FX options, and he came on and I gave him all this practical stuff. He was really disappointed. This obviously wasn't a good fit. I gave him his money back, and that's it. And then you feel good, and the people that join you will feel good. And that's, I mean, I don't think that's a problem.
Yes, I like that. I'm for sure it's going to be valuable. Can I ask you guys two things that I came to my mind while we're talking?
Of course.
Thank you. So one of them is, can we go through a little bit, because I'm having a little bit of trouble defining my difference and the pain points, which I guess are the most valuable piece of information to really reach the people that will be benefit from the things we share. So can we go through both of them to see what you guys think, and you have any feedback on how to communicate them?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
first of all, pain points is easy. In the financial space, pain point is easy. People are in pain because they're broke. They're working a job that they hate and they can't get out of it. Just that so many people in this world are in an economic situation that they feel like they have no control over, and they don't see a way out. And so the difference, like the differentiating factor, for you, I think ties into that. So you don't have to come up with some new system or some new formula or anything. Your story is your differentiating factor. You're semi-retired.
Yeah.
Right? You're 36, you're semi-retired, you don't work a 9 to 5. You're launching companies. That makes you different. The people that you're going to be speaking to are not in that situation, and that's where you are where they want to get to, and they're somewhere very different right now. And so you can say, look, tell them about your journey. Talk about your story, about how you got from where you were to where you are, and that's the same kind of journey and transformation that they're hoping for themselves. So you can point out that, we didn't talk a bunch about like prior background, but have you ever had a 9 to 5? Like, have you lived the life that a lot of these people are trying to get out of?
Yes, it was not a really extended one, because I realized soon in the journey, like I was 28 years old when I realized I could live differently. So I just did like 6 years of 9 to 5. And I am a stock market broker in Costa Rica. So I don't do that anymore, but that's like my career. So I always had kind of the flexibility and the commission, so the income, but I was definitely in a lot of debt, in a bad kind of relationship. Like I ended my marriage at the same time that I start this journey. And so yes, of course I can relate with the thing is, the being in debt that's why maybe I'm not getting like so assertive, because the being in debt, that I was $400,000 in debt, and I was earning zero, like, and my last income before that was $2,000 a month. So it's impossible I can pay but I never knew it was a problem. So I was not frustrated, because everyone I knew had a house they owed, a car they owed, a better car they owed. And so I never was like, oh my God, I just was like so unconscious of the situation that I wasn't really worried about it. So
Right.
what was transformative for me was more inspirational than painful, but it was also painful because when you get inspired, you realize your mom and dad, they like work until their last day, and that they are also in a lot of debt, and that so much money came into their house and it's all gone and you don't know how. So so you start like looking at things, and even my marriage, I was like, why am I in this script? Who wrote this? Like, I didn't write my own script. So for me, what was more transformative was like realizing I can really create a dream life. Of course, I have some things I suffer with still, but financially, it's like I'm not just in another one in like a written script by someone else.
Right.
So for me, and then I got rid of the debt so easily. It's almost ridiculous, but I just gave to the bank a property, like, you take it, and my credit was like all bad, and I was like, okay, because I already was in the mindset of I'm not having any debt. So I don't care if the bank, if my record is wrong or whatever. Take your property, which I put like $3,000 in, and they give me like $300,000 for the property. So take it. And then I sold my house, and that was it. I had no more debt. So I cannot connect so much with the ones that are so much in pain. Even though I had some students that were like that. Gustavo, my partner, is better in this, and so he's a lot more compassionate with the situation because he was really broke and he had a really hard time paying off his debts for 5 years and living in another town and a lot of things, and no car, by feet, walking everywhere because our public transportation is awful. So yes.
But I'd like to challenge you on that, because one, it's not true that you didn't experience the things that other people experience. It's just that your reaction is very unusual.
Okay.
And that's the difference. You had the debt. Okay. You had the debt that everybody had. You had the job that everybody had. But when you realized that your cognitive dissonance with the situation you were on was that strong, rather than curling up in a ball and being miserable about it, you just said, I'm not playing this game anymore. And the fact that you can both say that and know that it's true, so it's not just a story you're telling, is incredibly powerful. Your job is to be, if you're going to be the Yoda to your students, Luke Skywalker, the fact that you've done something that seems a little magical to them, meaning you said, fine, don't want to have that, take the house, take whatever, I'm just walking away. Suddenly, none of you banks have any power over me. I don't care about my credit rating because I don't want any of your stinking credit. That's but that's what's unusual, because that's not the pattern that most of us are conditioned to think in. The worst thing that could happen to you is for your credit rating to tank, because otherwise, how are you going to finance your house, your car, your vacation, your students' loans? You need, it's the most ridiculous thing. I experienced this when I moved to the States. Was that 9 years ago? Okay, my entire life had great credit rating. I moved to the States, had a good paying job. I couldn't get a credit card. I couldn't buy anything because nobody knew anything. I mean, it didn't matter what I showed them. I said, listen, here's my pay stub, here's my this. You want to talk to my credit card? I had a Visa card, and I had like a Diners Club or whatever where I came from. I said, you want to talk to them, see what you want to see the last 15 years. Same thing with my driver's license. I got insurance here. I had to pay insurance like I just started driving 2 days ago.
Oh my God.
And as long as you and that can be incredibly frustrating. Now, the moment you figure out the way the system works, it's really, really simple. you go to a bank and you give them $300, and then they'll give you a $200 credit line.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 months later, everybody's throwing credit cards at you, and that's just the way that it works. But it's breaking these patterns of the way that we're thinking. You have a tremendous advantage, and it's I mean, there's a lot of value. Forget about exactly how you did it and how someone else can do it. The fact that you can present a different way of thinking about things, that's really, really, really powerful. And it's not your responsibility necessarily to navigate exactly what your students do with that, but rather to give them options, and then they have to decide what they do. I mean, you're not responsible for other people's lives. You can only help them out.
Mm-hmm.
What they do with it is up to them.
Yes. Yes, that was powerful. Thank you. Yes. Okay, yes, I can see that.
So Maria, what needs to happen between now and you launching? What still has to happen?
Okay.
In a week and a half.
Okay. Okay. And you guys are going to hold me accountable. So that's the worst part or the best part. Okay. So, yes, I can do week and a half. Let me see. Week and a half is, yes. Okay. So we have a Facebook group page that has 6,000 followers, but it's not, the last thing we say in this page was, we are going on a sabbatical year, and it was in 2016, 15 in December. So it was 5 years ago. So I guess, and then we have a new Instagram account. So if I could like narrow down easy steps for us to go live in a week and a half, they should be I heard you have to do like 20 posts on Instagram before like advertising or before getting people to see it, so that they don't feel like it's like a scam. So I guess to post in Instagram and in Facebook will be okay. Let's say the step is 1, making a post calendar for 1 month. I think that would be a good first step.
How many
having conversations with our people.
Sorry to interrupt. How many Instagram followers do you have right now?
Oh no, 20.
20. Okay. So, I mean, build that, but you already have 6,000 people that you might be able to re-engage on Facebook.
Yes.
I would post something in that group as soon as we're done with this call.
Yeah, you can work on Instagram and
go in there and say, hey, we've been gone for 5 years, but we are so excited. We are going to move our class online, and we're putting it together now. And we hope to reconnect with a lot of you in the near future. Stay tuned. Or if you think you'd be interested in in us sharing our content online, send us a DM and we'll put you first in line as we get it more put together. But I would re-engage them in 10 minutes. As soon as we're done.
Yeah, we've been challenged to have the first version of our online class up and running in a week and a half. We'd really like to have 10 or 15 of you along for the ride. We'll offer it at a very, very deep discount because we're still working out some of the kinks, and you'll be instrumental in building the final version. And then start talking about that every day, like what you're doing in order to get ready.
But if you concentrate on the Facebook group, those are people that knew you, they knew of you. And so if you can remind them who you are and re-engage them, there's also, I'm assuming there's also people in that group who were your students and clients in the past. Yes. I mean, so that's not a cold audience. You don't have to go through the whole building trust thing. You can skip some of that. If you remind them who you are and say, hey, we're back, we're refreshed, we are so excited to help you in this new way.
If you'd like to know how to take 5 years off the way that we took 5 years off,
Well, that's nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's nice.
And you know,
Okay,
if you say you want 15 people and you get 45 responses, then say, wow, we got a lot more responses than I thought. If you get 3 responses instead of 15 responses, say, I thought I'd get a lot more. I only got 3. What am I missing? Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like be really, really, what I would do is be super open about how you're going about it, your expectations and reality, how you deal with the difference between those two, and like because that's part of dealing with looking at reality differently, and you being open about it, as opposed to someone that's coming on and running a scam and talking as if he knows everything about everything and nothing surprises him, and all questions, yes, I've heard about that before, and yes, this, and all the answers are canned. The more real you are able to be is just going to demonstrate the value of your ability to perceive reality different than most people.
Okay. Yes, I think that could be a good start. But then what I think is, as soon as I make one post, I should be posting more often. Because if not, I'm gonna lose the interest that I got in that post. If
you
I
have
get
a week and a half, you should post 3 times a day.
3 times a day.
That's, yes.
Okay, so just a quick question. Could the post at the beginning could they just be like me here with this background saying,
yes.
Hi, okay, I'm new in the internet kind of stuff, but I'm not new in living a life that you want to live or whatever, and something like that?
Yeah, don't spend any time being worried about whether it's the right kind of version of doing it on Facebook or whatever. I would spend 0 time on that. Don't worry about how to start. Just have the conversation, and if it's the wrong, it doesn't matter. They will forget by your second post you put up. They will, because you're not the center of their life.
Yes.
You're just someone else on Facebook that they have some kind of connection to, and if you continue showing up, it will start having value. But just because you came on, and it really doesn't. People spend way too much time trying to be official. Don't be official. Just be yourself.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to screw up. It's okay. And when I say, when I think about having to post 3 times a day and whatever, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, because I think, oh shit, now I have to know ahead of time what I'm going to put, what I'm going to post. And you don't. What you need to think about is, how do you say something meaningful and have like meaningful interactions 3 times a day? And if you start getting engagement in your group because you have a lot of people there, then 3 times a day is really, really easy, and you'll do it 12 times a day, because people start talking, and then you'll be able to give a little bit of advice and answer questions, and you're already having the interactions. It's not about putting up 3 posts where it's just you and video and you pushing lots of content. It's making the group feel that you're interacting and you're telling them about what's happening. It's a week and a half. It's 10 days from now until 10 days from now, when you're starting the first version, what you're doing. It's really exciting. You have lots of work to do. If all you do is tell them what you're doing in order to get ready, that's enough.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Now my mind is.
And Greg and I have 10 days to learn Spanish.
That's more difficult, I think. Spanish, I think, is one of the less. Well, is your background with some language, something like German or something like that, Bram?
Sure.
Go ahead, Greg. Bram. You go first.
I spoke very bad Spanish because I lived in Madrid for 8 months when I was like 10 or 11. So I have that.
I took 3 years of Spanish in high school.
There you go.
And it was functionally useless because I never actually spoke it. So I can actually read Spanish and comprehend it like so. But in terms of trying to have a conversation with somebody, that's just not what I was taught. So unfortunately, I have a little bit of like a literary Spanish ability, but in terms of conversational, I think I need to be just dumped into a Spanish speaking environment for 6 months, and then I'd probably be fine.
Yes, of course. Yes, because you already have the background. Yes, I was going to say, I think it's one of the less friendly languages to learn because we have so many conjugations and weird stuff. But then I thought about German and
German's pretty
all
bad.
this. Yeah, and I said, no, I think there's worse languages to learn. Okay, yes. So what we're talking, just for me to be clear, is making a post, let's say right now. I hope Gustavo doesn't want to kill me after. Saying, what have you done? We spoke about a plan. So one post saying what we just spoke about, like, okay, we're so excited. We're going live again. We want to have conversations with you guys. If someone is interested in how we have been 5 years not working or retired, please DM us. We're going online.
Yeah, do not ask people to DM.
Okay.
I'll tell you why, because that suddenly takes the opportunity for you to have conversations out in the open and engage more people, and you take it away.
Okay, cool.
If you need people to respond, then ask them to use like a phrase and make it really easy for them. Like if you're interested, write interested in the comments, or write one in the comments, or whatever, or write $1 million, but something that where you tell them exactly what to do so they don't have to think about it.
Yes.
But questions should be in the comment threads and everybody should be able to see it.
Okay, yes, of course, because there's where the conversations are going to start to happen. Okay, so it's one first post, and then let's say 10 days from, and then it would be 3 posts per day.
Yes.
Of 3 interactions of some way, and then 10 days to give a first workshop.
Yep.
Where we are going to offer something that is a higher price in such a lower, it's like a crash course or something like that. In a really lower price because they're helping us build the product. Yes. Okay, and then we record that one, then we sell that one, and then we ask for feedback, and then we announce another one where I'm going to be live, and so it's more expensive because they're having me to ask questions.
So they will help
like the
you.
Path, right?
Yeah, and so your customers will help you to eventually build a really, really good product.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you get to start right now. You get to share transformational information with people who could use it. And this saves you all the time of having to put together the final finished, polished product before you actually go launch it. Because what I've seen people do is put together the finished product and launch it, and nobody buys it.
Yes.
Because it wasn't quite what people wanted. Like the offer's not right or the content's not right. So this way you get to just dive in, get your hands dirty, and learn as you go. And so you don't have to do a ton of work between now and launching. You just need some interested people who want to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
And
would you guys do you think it would be okay if I also share the internet, going into the internet experience for me? Because
oh yeah, absolutely.
Example, and in this way, like saying, okay, I'm not like a copywriting expert, and I'm learning because I want to reach more people because I know this is powerful. But journey. What I know is, and then tell them I don't know about this, but what I do know is about this.
Yeah. I think that's super
journey,
valuable.
Exactly. Tell them the entire journey, including trying to figure out how to talk to them.
You're going to come across as incredibly authentic and trustworthy because you're not trying to be something you're not. You're not trying to hit them with like glitz and glamour and marketing. You're just like, I have all this content that I need to share with you to help you. And I'm learning this internet stuff. So bear along with me and help me to build this into something that's really valuable for as many people as possible. So absolutely tell them the truth about where you are with the technology platform stuff, and they'll still follow you where you go.
I like that. It sounds less heavy or lighter. Yes. Okay, nice. Okay.
Excellent. I'm really looking forward to following up with you and seeing. I'm sure you do great. And if you get stuck with anything and your mind sort of takes you somewhere, makes things more complicated than they need to be, reach out to either Greg or I anytime, and we'll tell you that it's all bullshit and it's just go do the next two things you need to do, and the rest will figure itself out.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
But it's been really great having you on this. Like I keep on saying, I love having these conversations because it's a great way of thinking about all of, these journeys we're all on, and being able to talk openly about what we're all trying to do and what we haven't figured out is what makes it, possible for each one of us to figure out what we're going to do next. And the more we talk about this stuff, as opposed to making everything secrets that we need to sell for $97.99, 7.5 secrets, right? Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we need to get away from that. The more collaborative we get, the better it gets. So
yes.
It's been great having you on.
And Maria, I just want to share one more thing. I can tell that you're very uncomfortable with the whole technology thing. Like, you seem very unsure of yourself with that aspect. But I think what you need to do when you do this is just lean completely on the fact that you are a subject matter expert at what you are going to teach. You are living the life that 99% of people can't even imagine is doable. So lead with that. Have absolute confidence in what you know and what you are going to share with others, and make the focus of what you're doing your confidence in how what you know is going to help other people. And the technology stuff that you're uncomfortable with, that you're unsure of, it'll figure itself out. It'll figure itself out. Like Bram said at the very beginning, it's completely unimportant. I mean, it's a little bit important, but it's unimportant for where you are right now. Just do whatever you need to do to start sharing your content as quickly as possible. And you'll be able to build that confidence with the technology, like as you go, but you can jump right in with the confidence you have in the subject matter that you know right away, and start helping people as soon as possible. And then with that confidence, the whole technology side is going to be a lot easier for you to deal with, I think. So
yes, it sounds good. And I think as soon as it goes out of my head, like into a video or whatever, I don't care if it's like a 1 minute video, but as soon as it starts going out, it's going to start to flow and be easier for me also to communicate it better.
Sure.
So for sure, starting with whatever is a good, but you gave me exactly a good way to start. So I'm really grateful for that.
Cool.
Good.
Yes.
Well, we're excited for you. I think we're both fairly certain that you're going to do really well at this. It's just a matter of getting started. If you need any help along the way, reach out to us, post in the 1%. There's a lot of people who can help out with specific technical things, but also just kind of give you a motivational boost too when you're stuck on something. So let us help you out, and let us know how things are going maybe in a month, and we'll go from there.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm going to get myself to work now.
Okay. Let us know how it goes. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.